Good morning and welcome to my podcast. This is live and I'm Bob Pace, your host. And we are raining a lot here in California. I'm live from California, Southern California, and we have some heavy rains. I'll see. Also, we have had some power outages and so forth. So hopefully, I can stay with you unless the weather gets worse. Anyway, you're on. Uh, you found me by Facebook, and you're on YouTube video. That's where we produce these things, and it's called The Secret: How to Fight CPS and Win. Now, um, that being said, uh, the uh, show talks about child protection services and how it relates with your family. And it's really key to know a lot of facts about that. It's been really a very tough agency to work with. A lot of deception, a lot of non-transparency, and a lot of lying. I've had, close to 14 years with CPS. I had a case that was active for 3 years, and before that, they were trying for 5 years. And then after my got my boys back, I've been doing these live broadcasts. I've talked to hundreds of people from around the country, and now I'm starting to talk to people from around the world. We've had calls from Australia and Canada, Nova Scotia up there, and then I just had a call last night from Kent in the United Kingdom. And everybody is struggling. Everybody is struggling to get their children that are stolen by child protection services. They're stolen to try to get them back. Now, um, the child protection services, and it's also called different names in other locations. It all boils down to the same thing. It's a branch of social services which is supposed to protect our children from abuse and neglect and do family reunification when there's hiccups in the family. Um, well, I think they've gone to protect our kids, but I think as far as family reunification, I think they forgot about that important part. And I'll explain to you why. Um, we have this show, by the way, is produced by uh, Vincent W. Davis and Associates. It's a law firm in Southern California, and it has many lawyers to deal with legal matters. One of the best child protection service lawyers is Vincent W. Davis. He is a family law attorney. He's very professional, and he's been fighting CPS and getting children back for a long time. He's a trial attorney, and he um, uh, has fought CPS in civil matters and sued them and won. So he is an excellent attorney. Right now, he is offering a um, 30-minute to a 1 hour consultation to talk about strategies in your case with CPS and how to get your children back. If you like them, retain them. It'll be worth every penny on it. I had to. I did not use an attorney. I wish I had done so. It's like a doctor doing. It's like a non-doctor yourself doing open heart surgery. Lawyers are professional. You need an attorney, and just like doctors, you need someone qualified because it's real critical. It's very hard and difficult to maneuver around child protection services of social services. You don't know the laws, you don't know the forms to file the petitions, and you do not even know about scary stuff that they'll put you through, all the hoops and hurdles. A lot of you may be going through that right now. And the number of the call is 888 That number you can call in to schedule an appointment to see Mr. Davis. Mention my name, Bob Pace, and you can. Um, uh, okay, hi, um, Anari. Yeah, I'm talking right now on my phone. The weather hit so bad that my transportation didn't happen, so I'm not at my computer. I'm at my phone. But you can call in to 888-888-6582, and that is the law firm. To contact me directly, I do have a phone number, but I'm using the abbreviated schedule. I don't know if my producer can hear me, but if you can flash out the number, I do have a number that I could talk on and bring you in there live. Otherwise, you have to talk at 888-888-6582. Now, uh, I'm glad you guys are writing comments. That's another way you can interact with this show. And so the number that to call in, I don't see it there, but I normally do have it. I'm on the show twice a day. It's at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time, and at um, 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 days a week. That's 14 shows I do. And I do talk about a lot of issues with um, child protection services. I've started a little early because I have a power issues, and I don't know if I'm going to have a power outage or not. So I wanted to get the show in so that you guys can get some help. I really know what you guys are going through, and I really feel um, sorry for what you're going through. It's a heartbreak. It was a heartbreak for me to go through. It's something that happened to me at later in life. I was 65 when they kidnapped my children, stole my children from me and my wife. And we're loving parents. We had loving children. We had a functional family. Now a family is disaster. Two of the kids were brought back, but there's a lot of impacts that they suffered when they were in foster care, group home, and in a shelter. They suffered a lot there. One child was convinced by CPS and alienated, which is against the law, but they alienated her from us as parents and talked her into becoming adopted by foster care because they make all these promises, and a little child at 12 really does not know. All they know is that, well, what happened to dad? Okay, want to know what happened to dad? He lost his job in 2010. It wasn't his fault, but he lost his job in 2010, and he'd been looking for 5 years, unaware that his wife's family would make allegations are untrue and cause havoc because they never liked the idea of me being married to my wife. We've been together for 30 years, but from day one, they've tried to undermine uh, our relationship and try to steal our kids. And they've been nothing but complete. I mean, they're the ones that should have been investigated a long time. And I'll talk about that later. But when I lost my job through no fault of my own in 2010, the economy was going through hard times. In 2007, the banks went bellied up because a lot had to do with the predatory loans. Banks were going crazy, or lenders were going crazy, giving away loans for people that weren't qualified for loans. And the lenders were documenting the documents, jacking up the income, changing the documents. And mine was too, by the way. I had a predatory loan. And I later sued them, but the money came too late, and it was at the end when they already bellied up. And the guy that got the bonuses is sitting like a fat king in another lending outfit. But as I say, what goes around comes around, the yin and the yang. So, at times things are really hard and stuff, but my belief in God has kept me going. Like today, I didn't think I'd make it to this broadcast, and I'm struggling still to this day. I did get several jobs in the last 14 years, but every time I work, I think it's going great. They run out of work for me. Either I work too fast or too hard, and they think I'm too old. I'm 74 now, but I can still work, and I work in the area of civil engineering. I work in the construction field. But I lost half of my retirement after working 30 some years for a company, and they invested your retirement into stocks and bonds in 2007. It took a dive because of the predatory loans, and I lost half of my retirement. Anyway, I was working at a company uh, that that had a niche in the state of California to do civil engineering and heavy highway construction. And I'd picked up a lot of work for the company, and I wanted to start my jobs. But in 2010, the governor um, of the state was having troubles with his budget, and he thought he'd do creative financing and and um, uh, send me IOUs. And when he sent me the IOUs, it was a terrible feeling. It was a terrible feeling. The IOUs, and so um, they said, "Well, you still get the jobs. We just can't pay you at the moment." I said, "These are public funds. You open yourself to lawsuit. Well, it takes money to sue, and that's one of the hardest things to do is to come up with money. I had to mortgage my home to fight CPS to hire an attorney. I tried to fight the CPS without an attorney, and it was a mistake on my part. All you're listening right now is that CPS is corrupt, they're deceptive, and they'll lie to you. They're not required to have any kind of certification or any kind of skills. They don't have license. And here they are dealing with the most critical aspect is family reunification. Families that may have had hiccups that need a little fix and repair, but they need to be back with their children. The goal they say with CPS is reunite your children with your family, and at all costs to make sure your mother and your father have the children. And instead, they alienate you and try to take you children away and put them in foster care. And it's a multi-billion-dollar business now. They've grown to the point where they are exorbitant with money. There's no check and balances, no transparency, and they get a lot of money from the federal and state. So anyway, I had these allegations coming from my side of my wife's family that weren't true. And I went through about 5 years of talking to them and say they weren't. They kept coming out to your home. And I did not know. You do not allow people in your home. You don't allow the police or the social workers in unless they have a warrant, a court order warrant that says they have to investigate your home and see a specific person. So unless they have, they're not doing. I live in my home, and at first that wasn't a problem living in my home. But what happened was I had a perfect storm brewing, and not only did I not working, and I was on a Spartan uh, ballast. Okay, I'm running short on time here, but I had a terrible time with finances and finding work. And my parents were dying and they had their belongings, and I took them in, and it caused problems with the home. It caused problems with the home. And um, because I had their belongings, and their belongings, the last time they were in my house, they saw my parents' belongings and said, "Oh, that's danger. Those boxes could jump and attack your kids. The furniture could run upstairs and go into their bedroom." It was so ridiculous. And then they used deception. Oh, they weren't into my home until I was uh, tricked by a detective using the local police to pull me over and told me I had to go home and they had to search a home. And I should have said, "No, you don't have a search warrant." But it was really, really, really bad. And there they were, three social workers, five firemen, two code enforcement, two uniformed policemen, and the detective. And my little 9-year-old son was scared to death, and so was I. Nothing wrong with my house was on fire. I lived in a private neighborhood with CC&Rs, so if anything was bad, they would have told me. The association would have. But apparently, they wanted to come in, and of course, when they came in, they started checking everything, and then you saw my parents' belongings. They charged me with neglect, and it was so extreme that they put my kids that same day into a shelter, and the shelter was bee infested outside the yard. It was next to the prison, and it was next to the dependency court, and the shelter was dirty, and it was overcrowded, and there wasn't proper food. That's how they protect your children. They're liars. And I was able to get a plan going. That's your step is when your kids are taken from me is a plan to put them with my wife's sister and her husband so they wouldn't be in CPS's hands. But that didn't last long because they were taken forever doing things. They were taken forever doing things. And with the time remaining, I want to tell you something called the 388 petition. It's a petition that you use to enter into court with new evidence or to change your current plan, such as you finished your substance abuse and are negative on testing positive and stuff like that. Um, I'm running out of time, so I can't take this call from Tennessee. I know it's one of you people calling me. Hold on 1 second. Hello, hello. Um, anyway, that was a call. I couldn't take it. So, um, with that being said, it was really hard. Um, um, oh boy. Um,